YouTube just made a massive change to how they moderate content, and it's sparking one of the biggest debates in social media history. This isn't about a new feature or algorithm update. This is about free speech, censorship, and who gets to decide what you can and can't watch online. Picture this. You're watching a 3-hour podcast where someone questions mainstream narratives about current events. Under YouTube's old rules, if even 15 minutes of that podcast broke their guidelines, the entire thing would vanish. Now, that same podcast stays online, available for millions to watch and decide for themselves. This is the reality of YouTube's new moderation policy, quietly implemented in December 2024. Here's what actually changed. YouTube doubled the threshold for removing content. Previously, if 25% of a video violated their rules, it was gone. Now, videos can contain up to 50% questionable content and remain online. No big announcement, no public discussion, just a fundamental shift in how the world's largest video platform operates. The timing tells you everything. This happened right after political pressure mounted on tech companies accused of heavy-handed censorship. Remember the debates about COVID information, election coverage, social issues? YouTube was constantly under fire for removing content that many felt deserved to be part of public discourse. They listened and they acted. Think about what this means for creators. That documentary exploring controversial theories, it has room to breathe now. That political commentary that pushes boundaries, it gets to exist. Long-form podcasts don't get nuked because of one heated segment anymore. For many, this is exactly what free speech on the internet should look like. Nicole Bell from YouTube puts it simply. They're trying to protect free expression while preventing serious harm. And here's the thing. Drawing that line has always been impossible to do perfectly. Under the old system, important discussions got caught in the crossfire. Legitimate debates were silenced. Educational content was removed because it contained clips that, out of context, violated rules. The platform specifically mentioned that this change helps protect content about elections, social movements, race, gender, and immigration. These are exactly the topics where free speech matters most. These are the conversations that shape society, and now they have more protection from overzealous moderation. Let's be real about why this matters. We've all seen it happen. A video gets removed and nobody really knows why. The creator gets a vague notice about community guidelines, viewers lose access to content they wanted to see, and important conversations get shut down. The old system gave too much power to algorithms and moderators who might not understand context or nuance. Meta saw the same problem and went even further, completely ditching their fact checkers. X transformed into a free speech platform under Elon Musk. YouTube's approach is more moderate. They're not abandoning moderation, just loosening the grip. It's a middle ground that many have been asking for. Of course, critics worry about misinformation spreading, but here's a question worth considering. Who decides what's misinformation? A year ago, saying certain things about COVID vaccines would get you banned. Today, some of those conspiracy theories are being discussed in mainstream medical journals. The experts don't always get it right, and silencing debate doesn't help anyone find the truth. Matt Hatfield from Open Media makes an important point. Platforms have to make genuinely difficult decisions. There's a balance between removing actually harmful content, like legitimate threats or illegal material, and allowing controversial ideas to exist. YouTube's new policy suggests they're trying to find that balance by trusting viewers more. The numbers tell an interesting story. Despite looser rules, YouTube removed 22% more content in early 2025 compared to the previous year. Nearly 3 million channels and 47 million videos still got taken down. This shows they're not abandoning moderation entirely, they're just being more selective about what crosses the line. Think about it from a creator's perspective. You spend weeks working on a documentary about a controversial topic. You present multiple viewpoints, include expert interviews, and create something genuinely educational. Under the old rules, one clip or one section could destroy all that work. Now your content has a fighting chance to reach its audience. The public interest exception makes sense when you really consider it. A news podcast discussing a controversial statement shouldn't be removed just because it includes that statement. A documentary about extremism shouldn't vanish because it shows what extremists actually believe. Context matters, and YouTube is finally acknowledging that. Some worry about AI-generated misinformation, but consider the flip side. When platforms over-moderate, they often hit legitimate content while sophisticated bad actors find ways around the rules anyway. Loosening restrictions might actually level the playing field, letting real people with real opinions compete with the propaganda machines. The transparency issue is worth discussing. YouTube made this change quietly, and that's not ideal. But massive policy announcements often trigger coordinated campaigns to game the system. Sometimes implementing changes gradually and observing the results makes more sense than causing panic. For users, this means more responsibility. You get to see more diverse viewpoints, but you also need to think critically about what you're watching. That's not a bad thing. It's treating viewers like adults who can make their own decisions. The alternative is having Silicon Valley technocrats decide what information you're allowed to see. The fear of toxic content often overshadows a crucial point. Robust debate includes ideas that make people uncomfortable. Progress happens when established narratives get challenged. Science advances through skepticism. Democracy thrives on disagreement. Platforms that sanitize all controversy aren't protecting users, they're infantilizing them. YouTube's new approach also helps smaller creators, who often got hit hardest by strict moderation. Big channels could afford to play it safe or fight removals. Independent journalists, alternative media, and grassroots creators frequently saw their work vanish without recourse. Now they have more room to operate. Here's what this really comes down to. Do you trust platforms to decide what you should see, or do you trust yourself to evaluate information? YouTube is betting on the latter, and that's a vote of confidence in their users. They're saying you're smart enough to spot actual misinformation without having every controversial idea hidden from view. The old system created echo chambers where only approved narratives survived. The new system opens doors for genuine discourse. Yes, some bad content might slip through, but the cost of over-censorship, silencing important voices, and killing legitimate debate was proving to be much higher. Looking forward, this could mark a turning point for the internet. After years of increasing censorship, platforms are remembering that free expression is what made the internet revolutionary in the first place. YouTube's change might seem small, but it represents a philosophical shift that could reshape online discourse. The bottom line? YouTube just gave creators more freedom and viewers more choices. They're trusting their community to handle challenging content responsibly. In an era where everyone complains about censorship, this is a platform actually doing something about it. Whether you love it or hate it, one thing's certain: the conversation just got a lot more interesting. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.